Lately, this system has started to hyperventilate. It's desperate to find anything that hasn't yet been re-engineered to maximize profit, and then it makes those changes as quickly as possible. The rate of change is visibly unsustainable. The profiteers call this process disruption, while commentators on the left generally call it neoliberalism or late capitalism. Millennials know it better as the world, or America, or everything. And everything sucks. The growth of growth requires a different kind of person, one whose abilities, skills, emotions, and even sleep schedule are in sync with their role in the economy. We hear a sweetened version of this fact whenever politicians talk about preparing young people for the 21st century labor market, and a slightly more sinister version from police officers and guidance counselors when they talk about working hard, flying right, and not making mistakes. It's tough love, and young Americans are getting it from all sides. This advice is uncontroversial on its face, but its implications are profound. In order to fully recognize the scope of these changes, we need to think about young people the way industry and the government already do, as investments, productive machinery, human capital. If people have changed as much as other engines of productivity have over the past 3 or 4 decades, it's no wonder the generation gap is so significant. By investigating the historical circumstances out of which millennials have emerged, we can start to understand not only why we are the way we are, but in whose interests it is that we exist this way. In the wake of Occupy Wall Street, the mainstream media seems to have discovered increasing economic inequality, dramatized in the vastly unequal division of post-crisis recovery income. When it comes to age, this inequality manifests both between and within generations. Young households trail further behind in wealth than ever before. And while a small number of hotshot finance pros and app developers rake in big bucks and big resentment, wages have stagnated and unemployment increased for the rest. In the shadow of this high-stakes rat race, child rearing has gone from harm prevention to risk elimination. It's no longer enough to graduate a kid from high school in one piece. If an American parent wants to give their child a chance at success, they can't take any chances. Entire industries have sprung up to prey on this anxiety, from Baby Einstein to test prep academies. For children born on the wrong side of the inequality gap, an increasingly integrated youth control complex puts them at constant risk of criminalization, from the classroom to the street to their bedrooms. The result is a generation of children with an unprecedented lack of unsupervised time, who have been systematically denied the chance to build selves without adult oversight. If this sounds like it might be anxiety-inducing, it should. Longitudinal studies on young Americans' psychological health reveal unprecedented changes. Young people feel, reasonably accurately, less in control of their lives than ever before. Luckily, the silver lining of every 21st century problem is a market niche, and youth psychosis is no exception. Long considered too indelicate a tool for developing minds, psychiatric medication has become part of a normal American childhood. Powerful pills can keep children who are at risk of malfunctioning under pressure operating on an ostensibly even keel. Depression and anxiety aren't just threats to our psychic and emotional well-being. When people's work depends on their communication skills and likability, mental illness is an error that must be corrected. American kids spend more time on schoolwork than ever before, even though their skills with new technology make the performance of academic tasks like research and word processing much more efficient. A scholastic arms race has pitted adolescents against each other from a young age. For kids who have trouble competing, or ones whose fidgeting threatens the classroom discipline necessary for those who are, there are Adderall, Concerta, and other prescription uppers to keep them focused and productive. Of course, once the pills are on the playground, there's no keeping track of them, and the market sets prices for these study aids just like anything else. In a reversal of the traditional ideas about childhood, it's no longer a time to make mistakes. Now, it's when bad choices have the biggest impact. If a millennial does not make it out of childhood on the right track, avoiding both the school-to-prison pipeline and debilitating psychosis, or even suicide, and into higher education, there's no finish line. It's more like